Hello, Kindred Spirits, and welcome back to Bits and Bobs Divination. My name is Caitlin, and together we are going to be diving in to see not only June as a whole and your blessings, but also to look into Gemini season. So let's go ahead and dive right in. Alright, so as always, welcome back. Thank you so much, Kindred Spirits, for joining me here today, and anyone new who is joining us as well. We are going to be looking into, like I said, your month of June. We're also going to be looking into Gemini season, so happy birthday to any Geminis out there. And each of these piles were very unique, but also had a thread sort of kind of sprinkling its way through each of them, so I'm very curious to see your thoughts as we move through each of the piles here today. I also want to say a big, cheerful, happy Pride to everyone out there who is both within the community and outside of it. As a queer person myself, I obviously love this month and I love to celebrate those within my community. So before I start really getting into all of the piles here, I just want to remind you that there's lots of different ways to support this space: snail mail readings, looking into private readings for you. But if you want to, dive into a little bit more of the queer magic, then definitely feel free to check out the rainbow pride earrings that I create for your specific colors, or so you can open up conversations and show your support to a loved one in your life. So feel free to check all of the information on those down below. They're hand crocheted. I put so much time, effort, and care into each of them, and I really do hope that there's something that can really spark conversations and create a safe way to share your colors and to share your support with others in the community. So feel free to check out all the information on that down below in the description and over on my Instagram and things like that. And let's go ahead and look at the piles here. So for each of the piles, we have not only a crystal, but also an affirmation this month. Feeling very abundant with these. So here for pile number 1, there is the option to choose between either this piece of black tourmaline or the message here of let go of all you can't control. So that's pile number 1 if you're feeling called to these. Pile 2, you have the message of listen before you act, as well as the crystal here of Labradorite. So if you're feeling called to this one, then this is pile number 2. And then last but not least here for pile number 3, the message here is I am blanketed in a deep abundance, as well as the crystal here of Snowflake Obsidian. So if you're feeling called to this little pair, then that is pile number 3. But as always, before you start heading off to your timestamps, I like to invite you to take a deep and cleansing breath here with me so you can really connect with your intuition, connect with the piles, see which one's really calling out to you or which ones. So let's go ahead and take a deep breath together here now. And as always, there's no right or wrong way to choose your piles here. You can choose all 3 of the piles, you can choose 2 of them, you can flip-flop between them, you can choose a pile and change your mind. There really are no rules here. All the timestamps are down below in the description alongside the chapter marks of this video. And like I said, if you want to check out those rainbow pride earrings that I hand create with so much care and love for you or for a loved one in your life, then definitely feel free to check those out down below as we get closer and farther into Pride Month. Thank you so much for being here with me today, and let's go ahead and get started with pile number 1. Hello group 1, if you've decided to choose this piece of black tourmaline as well as the message of let go of all you can't control, then this is the pile for you moving into June and as well into both Gemini season as well as Pride Month. Depending on how you guys celebrate those, depending on if you are a Gemini yourself, by the way, happy birthday to all Geminis out there, and happy birthday to all Tauruses. I didn't get to really say happy birthday to you all last month as I had some family stuff going on, but happy birthday to all of you. But we are going to be looking into your month of June and what awaits you, what blessings are on their way, as well as seeing how Gemini season is kind of mixing and swirling into your life and how that might be kind of changing your perspective on a few things. So we're going to be doing that with the charms, as well as several different oracle decks here as always, and tarot decks. I'll have all of it listed in the description down below. But the main deck today is, of course, as it is Pride Month here in the United States, we are going to be using the Queer Tarot. So feel free to get yourself cozy, get yourself settled, get yourself a cup of tea, some water, cozy blankets and pillows, whatever you'd like, and let's get right into it. And to begin, we're going to be pulling a few cards here to look into the main energies coming in for you for the month, to just sort of get the atmosphere of the month. So what's going on for group 1 for the month of June? Group 1, what is going on? So first off, you got a very quick moving month ahead of you. The Knight of Swords is the fastest moving, alongside the Eight of Wands, but regardless, it's one of the fastest moving cards in the deck. It is constantly racing, it is constantly moving. This is quick movement, quick decisions, using your impulse to really drive your actions this month. So we're going to see how that connects, seeing as it is Gemini season. This doesn't, this sort of clocks out. This makes sense. But let's see. Group 1, what else do you have coming in? What is moving quickly into your life this month? Group. Okay. So you also have the High Priestess. Group 1. Definitely feel free to connect with the cards. Group 1. Okay. Ooh, okay. So you guys have a really fun set of cards here. The Knight of Swords, the Ace of Cups here, as well as the High Priestess. This is immediately giving me sort of a romantic feeling to it. Sort of like that fluttery feeling of like having a crush on someone, and suddenly all of your life just sort of revolves around the messages that they send, the ways in which they talk to you, right? This sort of infatuation. It does not have to be with a person. This could also be just like a hobby that you're taking up. You're just like, all of your time is being poured into it. All of your decisions are revolved around it. It could be some sort of hyperfixation. It could be, like I said, with a person, with a hobby, with a project. Regardless of whatever it is, it seems like you are working off your impulse. You aren't really thinking things through. And you're really kind of making decisions that sort of blur the lines of, working off of your head versus your heart. There's usually that really big, are you going to listen to your heart or are you going to listen to your head sort of situation? And it kind of feels like they're on the same page, especially since you have the High Priestess here. As you can see, they've got this black and white pillar next to them, and they are sitting in the middle, seeing how this all fluctuates and moves together. So I really feel like you are working from a place, like I said, of impulse, using your mind, using your intellect, thinking things through, and then just, flying off of these decisions that you come to from the mind's perspective. But then your heart is also really a big player in this month. So when it comes to the decisions, when it comes to the actions you're taking this month, they're really going to be in a place where both your head and your heart are kind of on the same page, which is really good. That doesn't usually happen very often. So to see them both sort of lining up could be really helpful. You did have, like I said, let go of all you can't control. So I'm curious to see what it is that is speaking to, because at the moment this is giving more of the affirmation of group 2. So I'm curious to see, who knows, maybe group 2 could be really helpful to you as well. I haven't gotten there yet, so I don't know, but that could be an indication. Regardless, we're going to move to Gemini messages first. So usually I do these last within these monthly readings before the charms, but I was feeling like just whipping these out from the start. So this is an entire deck of archetypes. So we're going to be seeing what archetype you're moving out of and what archetype you're moving into, because Gemini season is all about sort of taking on a new perspective and seeing things from multiple points of view. So we're going to be seeing how that comes in here for you. So how are you kind of shifting your perspective with Gemini season on your side? So group 1 here. Group 1, Gemini season. How might you be shifting your perspective this month? Where are you going? Group These ones are kind of feisty. They don't really want to give me one card. Okay, so it seems this is where that let go of all you can't control card is coming in, because where you are at right now, heading into the month, is very much the storyteller energy, where you do see multiple viewpoints, right? You are working with your head and your heart. You're seeing how they line up. But it also showcases control. So it may be that you're starting the month where things are kind of working together, but we're going to see if that starts to shift as the month goes on, if maybe your head and your heart start to diverge. So let's see, group, there we go, group 1 here. So where you started as the storyteller, viewpoints and control, right? If you think of a storyteller, right, they are able to decide what viewpoint, what parts of themselves are shown, how they share their story. And so in this case, you know, there can be some vulnerability, but there's also a lot of protection. There's a lot of boundaries being kind of shown with the idea of the storyteller. But then you're moving into the musician here, which is a form of a storyteller, right? A musician can tell a story in far few words in a more mysterious way. Inspiration and gratitude being the main messages here. So, like I said, there's something that's got you really inspired, kind of impulsive, doing things in a way you hadn't been doing before. And so where before you were kind of in a place of control, right? Your head and your heart were on the same page. You were able to kind of see things quite clearly. All of a sudden, a new person, a new situation, a new infatuation, a new hyperfixation might be coming in and sort of, I don't really even want to say throwing a wrench in things. It just sort of is tripping you up, changing things up a little bit, making your heart go flutter a little bit. And the musician, right, they speak from the heart. They really tell their story in a more poetic, more musical, harmonious way. So they're very similar cards, but the energy is different, right? This one feels much more in control. Things are this, everything is aligned. And then the musician is much more in flow, in flux, a little bit more fluttery. And I feel like that's how you're sort of changing from, you know, the month of May into the month of June or into Gemini season here. With that in mind, let's go ahead and pull you your blessing card. So we're going to be seeing this one. I feel like it's more of a blessing in disguise kind of energy that these cards are giving off today. So let's go ahead and see what that is for you, though. A blessing can also just talk to be like energy that's most on your side this month, an energy that you can really work with that'll be quite a positive experience for you. So let's see, group 1 here. Okay. Interesting. So you got the grandmother of sunflower, and it says here nourishment. And what I love about this specific sunflower is it doesn't feel like a really flashy sunflower or one like full of the seeds. It's much more focused on sort of that radiant energy that the petals sort of unfurling here. So it says, turn what you love, whatever feels like sunshine, and let it nourish you. Does that not sound like everything we've been talking about here with this Ace of Cups and the idea that you are just letting something fill your cup, making you go aflutter, getting a little flustered, getting excited and giddy about something that, you know, isn't so in your control, is a little bit unknown, is a little bit vulnerable, and that's sort of coming in. But I love this message. Turn what you love, whatever feels like sunshine, and just let it nourish you, right? Not much more needs to be said. I love that card. I feel like it's simple. I feel like it's in that musician sort of energy, with that poetry showing up here with the haiku. You also have the number 10 showing up here with this one, which can sometimes represent completing a circuit. So this also could be something that you're revisiting from your past that is now kind of coming back into your life, that you're revisiting a very positive experience, something that makes your heart go aflutter. So that's really beautiful to see coming in here as well. I want to pull you one more card, though, before we move on to the charms to get a little bit more clarity here. by looking at a relationship card. So for those of you who have been here before, you'll know what this is, but we're not just looking into only romantic relationships, but we're looking into relationships of any kind and seeing the energy that is showing up there. So platonic, ones with family, ones with spirits, ones with yourself, ones with your internet provider, who knows? It could be anyone, right? So feel free to send your energy in to whoever it may be that you are more directly thinking of. Otherwise, we're going to see more of the collective message here for you all for relationships this month. Group 1 relationships. Just a little look into them. Okay, so you got travel here. Interesting one to get for relationships. It could be that you're literally traveling with someone right now, going on vacation, going on a trip, maybe going on a road trip, or traveling to go see someone, or someone is traveling to come see you. There could be something very literal there. Otherwise, travel is giving me this feeling of like, you know, that intimacy that you can get on a road trip with someone where, you know, you're spending hours in the car, singing your favorite songs, putting your hands out the window, feeling the sunshine, having to, you know, change your plans on the fly sometimes, things like that. That's the feeling I'm getting from this travel card, is that something is sort of changing, traveling, taking a road a little bit less traveled with someone, right? So could be something as simple as just literally going on a road trip or traveling, or it could be, like I said, where you feel like you might be, where this is how the relationship has always been for you, very straight and narrow, and you knew how it was working and it always worked that way. It feels like it's diverging, it's taking a different path, it's going a little bit of a different way, traveling a little to the side to the other, and seeing where that dynamic shift is happening there. So see what comes in. It says, seeing the surface of the ocean is not the same as diving deep to the coral. So see how that applies. But those are all of the cards. But of course, we're going to look into the charms as well. But if you are enjoying this reading so far, definitely be sure to give this video a like. Really does help the channel, so I really do appreciate it. But we're going to go ahead and pull you a few of these charms to get some more details. So group 1, Gemini season, June. Okay, so let's zoom in and have a little look. So you got here in the center, like I was talking about with that sunflower, where it was all kind of coming to the center, this radiance. You got the charm of, like, I always think of this as like a little mandala. It kind of feels very meditative, being very mindful, being in the moment, taking your time, not rushing things. And since you have such a quick, fast-paced moving month, it's kind of just telling you to be in the moment, really, you know, turning what you love, whatever feels like sunshine, letting it nourish you, letting it really have a moment, and making sure not to just quickly move past it or quickly let it pass you by. That's kind of the energy that I'm getting here, a bit of guidance. Here next to the storyteller, an energy you're sort of moving out of, you have the bear claw charm. This is kind of showcasing hibernation. So this is an energy that's starting to hibernate. It's an energy that's kind of moving to the off switch versus the musician. And then over here you also have the beauty charm of the swan. The swan also can be highly protective. I don't know if you guys have ever been around a swan, but they are very protective of those they love. And so the fact that storyteller is showing up here too, you know, you've been protecting your story, protecting those you love, protecting yourself, keeping things in line, in order, keeping things in control. And there's a protection there, but there isn't always beauty. There isn't always that, because this did fall reversed. There isn't always that music. There isn't always that muse coming in when we kind of block it off for protection. So that's showing up here, a vulnerability sort of entering the chat. You also have the sort of patterns charm, but since it fell here on the High Priestess, I think it's just talking again to that head and heart connection of a sort of black and white pattern back and forth. you have over here next to let go of all you can't control. Sorry, can't control. I don't know why I wanted to read it that way. And the Knight of Swords, you have the Thou Shall Not Steal charm, which I always see this as like not wanting to rain on someone's parade or steal someone's thunder. And then you also got here the focus charm, because this is how, you can really focus deeply to like thread a needle. So I feel like since it fell on that feeling again, trying to not miss opportunities for things to really fill up your cup, make you feel excited, making sure that you don't just take the month for granted and the energy coming in. And also that, again, don't rain on your parade by kind of protecting yourself, I think is going to be a really big part of your month. So those are all of the things to sort of focus on and look at over the coming month, over Pride month, as well as Gemini season. I do hope that this has been useful. I did just realize you had another charm just showing up over here. You actually have the charm, which I really love that this one showed up, especially since I'm using the Sea Melodies oracle here. But just the last little second here, this is the anchor charm, and the anchor can be both put down, right, to hold a ship in place, but it can also be raised up. And since it fell here on the cup, I feel like this is an energy that you are starting to raise the anchor from being so protected, feeling like you can't really have what's in this cup. So like I said, those are all of the cards, those are all of the charms now. If you did enjoy this reading, please do be sure to give this video a like. Do let me know in the comments down below how it connected with you. I'm always curious to hear your thoughts or any sort of readings you'd like to see in the future. Always curious to see your feedback on that. And if you're interested in more pick a card readings, if you are interested in charm casting or interested in art magic with grimoire stuff, then definitely feel free to subscribe as I put out new videos every single Monday that you might enjoy. And for Pride Month, I'm actually offering rainbow pride earrings where I crochet little pride earrings up for everyone with their specific colors, with your specific flag colors, to really show off and start conversations with others when it comes to how you identify, or to give a little bit of support to a queer person in your life or someone within the community. So do feel free to send any questions or look at any helpful reviews down below through my Instagram or through my email. And with that said, thank you so much for being here with me today. Truly, I do really appreciate your time coming in here, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye. Hello Group 2, if you've decided to choose this piece of Labradorite, as well as the affirmation or pondering oracle card here of listen before you act, then this is the pile for you. So we can really look into Gemini season for you as sort of an interesting exercise, seeing how you are maybe shifting your perspective, as well as to look into any messages for you overarchingly for June, and to see the blessings on their way in for you. We're going to be doing that with the charms, as well as several different oracle decks, with the Queer Tarot being the main tarot deck here for Pride Month. Happy Pride to everyone. Also, happy birthday to Geminis out there, and happy birthday to, or late birthday to all the Taurus folk out there, as I wasn't able to do a May reading. Thank you to everyone who was so understanding about that with a family situation. But today I just wanted to say those happy birthdays, to say happy Pride, and to look into your coming month. All of the decks and supplies will be listed down below in case you're curious, but we're going to get right into it. So let's see, first off, the main energies coming in for you for the month of June, and start from there. So as always, feel free to send your energy into the deck, and let's see what comes back. So Group 2 here. What do you have going on for the month of June? Group 2. What do you got going on for the month of June here? So first off, you have the Page of Cups flying out of the deck right off the bat. I love that this has sort of this silly feeling to it. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I saw it from this perspective, and Gemini season is all about seeing things from new perspectives. So there could be this silly, I'm almost seeing like silly string Like, it just feels silly, it feels fun, it feels fresh. So you have the Page of Cups. You also have the Wheel of Fortune, so things shifting and changing. In terms of luck and fortune, this can also be a card that really speaks to time and how time is moving. And especially since June is sort of halfway through the year, this could be just sort of giving you a indication of how you might be sort of checking back in with your goals, checking back in with yourself, checking back in with where you want to be, and where you still would like to continue to improve or change or shift or whatever. So there's something coming in there. But of course, we're going to pull one more because I love to work with threes. Looks like one card already pulled itself here with the 10 of Cups. So 2 cup cards and the Wheel of Fortune. What a nice little combo here. Interesting. So what I really like about this, like I said, lots of cup cards coming in for the win. So the 10 of Cups can sometimes talk about this idealistic, beautiful, perfect, fulfilling life, right? Sometimes it's a little out of our reach. Sometimes it's a little unrealistic. But seeing as it's next to the Page of Cups tells me that you don't feel like it's out of your reach, but rather that it's going to take a lot of work, and it's not necessarily that you think that it's this perfect life, but rather just something that you feel like eventually you could achieve. Eventually it's something you could be successful in, or something that you're at least glimmering with hope to find. This silly string is telling me again that you're not taking things too seriously. Like I said, I feel like you might be revisiting goals that you maybe set back at the beginning of the year, things you really want in life, kind of just checking back in with where you're at. And the fact that you got listen before you act is giving me this feeling too that you are really listening to your needs, listening to where you want to go. This month is less about taking action, less about impulsively moving forward and quickly moving to your goals and quickly trying to get the success in life, and rather just finding success in the everyday, finding little moments that bring you happiness and joy. What I love about the 10 of Cups is a lot of the time we think it's something that we need to achieve, right? The perfect family, the perfect kids, the perfect house, the perfect life, right? This idealistic life. But sometimes it's realizing that it's happening already, that there's things already happening in our lives that we can realize day in and day out and be like, that was fulfilling. That's something I'm grateful for. That's something that happened today that I'm really happy for. This is something that I've been wishing for, right? And if we take our time to be grateful and to notice and to not let those things pass us by, I think that can make a really big difference. And so for you, I feel like this month you're going to be cherishing a lot of moments. I think you're going to be more present. I think you're going to be more silly and more playful. I feel a lot of creativity also coming in this month, and a sense of wonder maybe popping back in. It just doesn't feel very rigid, right? Things feel very in flow, in flux, but I feel like you aren't looking to try to make things perfect, but rather just enjoy the imperfections in the moment, which I know sounds super cheesy. I know it's like been something we probably have talked about a billion different times here on this channel already, let alone in life and in, Hallmark movies, right? But it's true, right? It's been said a billion times, because cherishing those small little everyday, mindless moments, just hanging out, seeing that smile, listening to someone laugh, looking at the birds, whatever it might be that brings you that little bit of joy. I feel like you're really focusing on that this month, versus trying to kind of overthink the future as you continue to check back in. So with that in mind, we're going to look into some Gemini season messages, and Geminis are known for sort of seeing things from multiple points of view, right? They're the thinkers, they're the inventors. They can really see multiple points of views and kind of tinker with them in their mind. So we're going to be seeing how you are shifting perspective from one archetype to another as the season continues. So let's see first what archetype you're kind of leaving and what archetype you are moving into. So group two, fill in this one here. Okay, so we have the painter, productivity and creation. I did feel like you guys are more creative people. Maybe you dabble a little bit in creativity in a very practical sense, in a way that maybe you guys are literally painting your house, or you're somebody who likes to tinker with things. You like to, I don't know, something along those lines. It feels very productive, feels very clean, professional, that kind of thing, something that's very helpful, versus like a typical painter that is obviously sometimes seen as selfish, or someone who, you know, indulges in the muse and creativity. And I feel like you're kind of moving from a place of sort of this more productive way of creating into, you know, a more silly mindset. So we'll see if that continues here with the cards. Group 2 here, a mindset they're moving into as the month continues. Okay, so you got the Masquerade, I believe is how you say it, and it says here, hiding your true self, projection. Interesting. So the fact that we kind of have it flipping is really interesting, because like I said, you have this carefree, creative feeling to you, and you may be starting the month that way. But it's kind of a reminder not to get too bogged down into those details where, like, maybe when you check in with yourself, you might overthink things. You might be like, oh, dang, it's been halfway through the year. I need to be doing this, and this. And this is kind of just sort of, it feels more like a reminder or a opportunity for you to choose between these two cards, right? Do you stay with the painter, which feels very productive, but can also be very creative and silly too? Or moving into a place of sort of perfection and masking and sort of hiding yourself. So it's kind of up to you where you're going to go. But seeing as that you have all of these flowers showing up on the Page of Cups here with the silly, joyful energy, and then the painter has all of these beautiful flowers behind it, I don't know, kind of feels like the cards are hinting to one over the other for you. But with that in mind, let's go ahead and pull you your blessing card for the month. So you could see this as a blessing from a spirit or a loved one, but you can also see it as a card showcasing an energy that is most prevalent or most on your side this month. So let's see what that is for you. Group 2. Okay, so you have Grandmother Primrose, Self-Trust. It says here, first off, it's the number 6, which is a very harmonious number. Love that number showing up. And it says here, give yourself credit, one choice at a time, repeat. Learn to trust yourself. So there's a bit of a trust exercise happening. There's a lot of flower messages showing up here for you as well, like smelling the roses, getting out into nature, feeling the earth, really connecting with yourself. And the self-trust as well coming in here, and the idea to sort of like trust fall into your life rather than feeling like you need to clench or control things. I really feel like pile 2 for you guys and pile 1 are very connected, so I'd be very curious to hear if you guys watched both and that they feel like similar messages but in a different flavor. So that's kind of coming in here, but regardless, self-trust is something that is going to be quite a blessing for you this month. This trust fall into your life, this trusting, this connection with yourself enough to trust yourself and know that you know where to go, and know and listen to yourself before you act, and to give yourself more credit. Like it says, give yourself more credit for how far you've come instead of, you know, dreading how much you haven't done, right? There's so much you've done, I'm sure, you know, right? If you look back in your life, even just the day before, you're going to realize just how much farther and how much more you've done and accomplished than you think and you give yourself credit for. So that one's really highlighted here in double highlighter, right? So we're going to move on to your relationship message card for the month. So this is going to be a collective message, but as always, you're welcome to sort of meditate on the cards and send in your own energy for a specific relationship in your life. But we're going to just look at relationships in general. So group 2 here, a relationship card. Showcase the relationships and the energy showing up collectively here for group 2. It's kind of sneaking around. Group 2 here. Okay, so you got safety here. Don't be too proud to go back to the shore. This I feel like is connected to that self-trust and the idea of like creating for sort of selfish reasons. I don't know, there's something showing up here that's related there, but safety showing up here with don't be too proud to go back to the shore with these little sharks here. And I kind of have this feeling too that there could be someone in your life that's sort of putting seeds of doubt into your mind, making you not be able to trust yourself, trust your decisions, know that you know in your gut where you're going and what you're going to do and how you're going to get there, and painting that picture yourself versus letting someone else paint that mask for you and decide and make decisions for you. So there's something showing up here where someone's kind of like weaseling their way in. So it doesn't really feel like you need to play things safe, but rather that someone's trying to sort of corral you in and kind of make you think that their path is more safe. Their path is the way you should take because they've done it before, or they've, there's something kind of weaselly there. So just be on the lookout for that one. But before we finish off your reading, as we have all of the cards now, we're going to go ahead and pull you some charms to just see those last little details and see how they land on the cards here. But if you are enjoying this reading so far, please do be sure to give this video a like, and feel free to let me know in the comments down below how you are enjoying it. But let's pull you some charms. Okay, so quite a few here. Let's zoom you in. Okay, so I really like these charms. Let's start first right here at the top. So you got the kind of building blocks charm, literally a building blocks with the Lego. When I first pulled this, I had a feeling that it was gonna, because I could feel it in my hand, I had a feeling it was gonna be about safety, right? This idea of like, if you guys have ever stepped on a Lego, you know what I'm talking about. But in this case, it kind of fell over here next to a little snake on this card, right? Someone weaseling their way in, snaking their way in. So I feel like it has a dual kind of connection here where it's kind of just reinvigorating or reinforcing the idea that someone might be snaking their way in, weaseling their way into places that they don't need to be, right? That they're trying to dictate where your life is going, especially since the Wheel of Fortune card was talking about kind of connecting back with your goals, connecting back with where you're heading in your life, and just sort of checking in. So the fact that that showed up here with trying to kind of put their own stake, their own foundation in your goals is just something to be aware of. Alongside that, you got here on the painter with those flowers. It feels like that's a very much a faded message, or a message that's been showing up here for you a lot. Maybe you guys have been seeing flowers everywhere. I mean, it is spring, but I do feel like maybe some of you are really catching up on some more spiritual messages coming from those flowers, because you did get the charm of sort of spirit guides or loved ones, gods, goddesses, right, working behind the veil to sort of help something happen in your life, right? They're trying to help from behind the scenes to make something happen. So the fact that they have these messages all kind of connecting visually is telling me that they are kind of helping from behind the scenes when it comes to maybe moving back into this idea of the painter, right? Choosing the painter as your perspective this month, or sort of being this little fish in the cup and kind of speaking to you as well and trying to send you some advice before you act, right? Something like that, especially since you got some more messages here showing up here with the more message charm of the feather. You also got next to the feather a parrot charm. The parrot usually talks about making sure you're not parroting what everyone else is doing, kind of bringing your own original spin to something. So this is showing up here next to the 10 of Cups and the painter. also could be related to that idea, again, of someone weaseling their way in, kind of making you parrot what they've done in the past. And I feel like you're being shown to sort of stray away from that. Make sure that they don't sort of latch on. And then you also have the gambling charm showing up here on self-trust, that maybe it feels like a gamble to sort of trust yourself. But I do think that that's really important for you right now. You also got the little stopper charm. So it's like putting a stopper to something. So I do feel like this is definitely self-trust is definitely something you're really working on, and trying to work through any blockages that you have there, even though it feels maybe a little risky, a little vulnerable. And then over here on the mask here, you have the upside down version of the Eiffel Tower. And the Eiffel Tower can talk about a new perspective, right? Looking from a different perspective. But since you got it upside down, I just feel like some sort of spirit guide is showing up here and saying, please do more of the painter energy. Do the productivity, do creation, do something silly. Get in your element of creativity this month, and that's going to be something that they're definitely highlighting for you. So those are all of the charms and cards that I have here for you, group 2. I do hope that this has been useful. I do hope it has been helpful for you moving into the month. Again, happy Pride Month, happy Gemini season, happy birthday to all the Geminis out there. And thank you so much for just hanging out here with me. I don't really feel like I say it enough, but I do appreciate that you guys take the time to sort of show up here for yourselves. I think that's really important. Definitely feel free to give this video a like and let me know in the comments down below how it connected with you. If you're interested in more pick a card readings, art magic, or charm casting, then definitely feel free to subscribe, as I put out new videos every single Monday that I think you'd really enjoy. And if you'd like to support your community or to support yourself by looking at getting your own Pride rainbow earrings for Pride Month, then definitely feel free to check those out down below, as you can get them in your own custom colors, your own flag colors, or you can even get them fully in rainbow just to show off colors for another in your life and to show some support, start conversations, things like that. Then feel free to check all of the information on that down below on my Instagram, as well as seeing any helpful reviews there or sending any questions. With that all said though, thank you so much for being here with me, like I said, and sharing this space with me, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye! Hello group 3, if you've decided to choose this piece of Snowflake Obsidian, as well as the affirmation or message of I am blanketed in deep abundance, then this is the pile for you. We're going to be seeing how that abundance is coming in for you for both Gemini season, for Pride Month, for June as a whole. And we're going to be seeing how that all connects with everything here, using the charms, using several different oracle decks, and of course we're going to be, bringing out the queer tarot here for Pride Month. So all of the information for different decks and supplies that I'm using here will be down below in the description if you're curious. And I also want to just say happy birthday to any Geminis out there, and happy late birthday to Tauruses out there, as I didn't really get to do a May reading for you all, but I just want to say, happy birthday to you all, especially as a Taurus myself. And like I said, we're going to be looking into Gemini season 2, which so far for the other piles has been a lot of fun. So feel free to get yourself cozy, get yourself comfortable for this, get yourself some water, whatever you need. And we're going to see first 3 cards to represent, or more cards to represent the main energies on their way in for you for the month of June. So group 3, definitely feel free to send your own energy through time and space into the deck. But group 3, let's see what you have coming in for this month. The overarching energy coming in for the month of June for group 3 here. No cards are really speaking out too much here, so I lied. Well, I didn't lie, but one popped out there with the Tower showing up here. Interesting. The Tower can sometimes be a kind of scary card for some people, especially with the imagery, but I'm going to see how it's connecting with everything else that's coming in before we really jump into that one. So what is sort of flanking the Tower here for group 3? Oh, of course, seeing as you are group 3, we've got the 3 of Cups showing up here. as well as, my goodness, they're flying out now, as well as the Four of Swords. Okay, so this feels like a very healing month. If I was going to put a word on the entire month and blanket it in something, with that blanketed in deep abundance, the abundance that you have coming in here is support, is compassion to your situation, is understanding, is people really coming together and supporting you in some way, and also getting a little bit of rest, getting a little bit of time to breathe, because it feels like you've had quite a lot going on. The Tower card represents situations in our lives that are outside of our control and kind of trip us up, that kind of throw us for a loop, that are just sort of chucked into our lives and can sometimes break down, foundations that are really that probably need to be broken down sometimes, right? Sometimes there's foundations that were a little wobbly to start with, and that's why we need to rebuild and rethink things. But other times, right, it's just things that we have no control over that show up in our lives. And so the Tower is showcasing to me that you really had something show up in your life that was very much outside of your control, very much something that needs a little bit of healing, a little bit of rest, that needs a little bit of gentleness and tenderness and compassion coming forward to you. And the fact that you got the three, not only did you choose pile 3, but you got the 3 of Cups showing up here is such a beautiful card to get when in such a difficult situation, in a difficult spot. Because the 3 of Cups showcases a lot of support, a lot of love, a lot of care, a lot of celebration and understanding. And then flanking on the other side, you have the 4 of Swords. And the 4 of Swords, as you can see, they are taking a little rest. They're taking a little nap here. It's not saying that you're gonna kind of leave the world forever and, become a hermit somewhere because the world got too hard or too difficult. But it's just saying, like, you need a little breather. You need a little rest. And that's okay. That's totally fine. We all need that. And I think you'll come back to the world when you're ready, and you'll come back to things when you are ready, and asking and needing a rest and looking for that support, asking for that support, that rest, that time off is totally valid, totally fair, and something that is, at least by the cards, being quite encouraged here. And it almost feels like you kind of want to brush off the situation and be like, yeah, I'm okay, it's fine, things are fine, everything's good, right? But I think the real ones in your life, they see through that facade, they see right through it, and they are here for you. They're asking, if they can help. They're looking out for you. And if it isn't, specific people in your life, it's maybe resources in your community. Maybe it's reaching out for help in another way. But regardless, that is showing up here. So with that in mind, let's see what else is showing up for you specifically for Gemini season. So we are going to look at these cards, which are all a bunch of different archetypes. And we're going to be seeing what archetype you are sort of taking on this month. Sometimes it might be both archetypes that show up, but I'm going to just sort of put it out there that we're going to look at one archetype that you're moving away from and an archetype you're moving into, because Gemini season is all about the thinker, right? Geminis can be very much, they can overthink things, but they can also look really deeply and see both sides of the coin. And so I want to see sort of both sides of the coin here for you. So what specific archetype are you moving away from right now? What energy are you moving away from? Group 3. There's one card right here. I just don't want to lose it under my hand. Okay, the Tailor, attention to detail and pride. And this also kind of feels like, again, with that dropping of foundations, things shifting, things changing, right? This kind of reminds me of like that idea of the fates, right, showing up here too, of sort of cutting people out, cutting things off, changing things quite quickly and quite suddenly. That's sort of energy we're moving away from, right? The Tailor also with attention to detail and pride could also be related to how you've been maybe feeling, maybe too prideful to ask for help, things like that, and feeling like you need to cut the tension. Let's see what one you're moving into as the month progresses. So you have the Merchant here. This one is much more giving Libra energy in the idea of the scales of balancing things out, and everything balances back out. And immediately I'm getting this feeling of like reciprocity, and that when I think sometimes you might find yourself again with that feeling of pride before I even touch on this, right? This just came up. But this feeling of like being too prideful to ask for help. How many times have you helped someone and you never asked for anything back? You never needed anything, you just wanted to help because you really cared and you wanted to be there for someone when they're going through a difficult situation. And just think of how good it would feel for them to return the favor. And that's sort of the feeling I'm getting here from the Merchant. Self-worth and trade. Giving yourself a little bit of credit, giving yourself a little bit of trust in your community to sort of fall back on. That's the feeling that I'm getting here from the Merchant with self-worth and trade. So those are the energies that you're kind of shifting back and forth from. I also think it's interesting that you've got all these little oranges down here, and then you've got apples up here. Sometimes people think oranges and apples don't mix, right? But they're not supposed to mix. They're showing two sides of a coin. They're showing diversity in a situation, and that there's multiple perspectives showing up here. So that feeling too, the Three of Cups can talk about celebrating our differences too, and the fact that I do think that there can also be a little bit happening this month in the fact that you're showing off a new perspective, and that you are noticing the differences in others as something that is a strength, and the diversity in others is a strength, and diversity in yourself, something around there too, as something to be celebrated. But let's see your blessing card now. So you may not really think of blessings much as something that's coming into your life, but we're going to see if you have an energy that's falling into your life that is going to be really on your side. That's kind of how I see these cards. So let's see what blessing or energy is most on your side this month. Okay. Interesting, we just talked about the orange and the apple, and the entire time that I've had this card, I was looking at those oranges like, why does this orange keep popping out to me? And I thought it had something to do with the apples, and I still do, but the fact that you literally got the orange card showing up here just tells me even more. So here we are with Grandmother Orange. It says, first off, it's the number 49, 4 being a number of stability, 9 being a number of sort of finishing things off, kind of again feeling like someone you can fall back on because, you know, you've helped them in the past and they want to kind of finish that loop. Regardless, here we are, orange. Encouragement beams freely shared between two hearts, bringing both more light. I mean, it speaks for itself here, right? Encouragement beams freely between two hearts, bringing more light. I mean, there's someone who's here to encourage you, to bring cheer back into your life, to remind you that things are okay, and to remind you that it's okay if things aren't okay. You know, someone who's really there for you. I feel like that is a huge part of what's coming in here for your month. And that joy, cheer, encouragement, excitement, sort of grounding back into some foundations in your life around joy and cheer are going to be really important and impactful for you, and maybe where you are being literally blanketed in a blanket of cheer, an abundance of cheer and joy and care and support, sort of pouring into your life. So I love to see everything that you have coming in here. It's so beautiful. I just absolutely love your spread of cards here so far. It's so beautiful. But let's go ahead and finish our cards up before we move to the charms by looking at a relationship card. So obviously we've got some relationships showing up here, so you might already have one in mind, but regardless, we're going to look into more so the collective messages here for you all when it comes to relationships more generally. So group 3 here. Relationships. I'm feeling this top card too. Okay, so you got 2 different ones here because I was feeling both of them. You have take the helm, be in control of your own ship, maybe having something to do with a new foundation coming in, people supporting you to build something new. And then you also have dance with take inspiration from the moonlight dancing on the surface of the sea. some inspiration flowing back into your life. Dance feeling like, again, a dance with others. They're literally dancing in this card. Dancing is something we do when we're more vulnerable with someone, right? We don't necessarily dance with strangers very often, although some of us do. So there is this feeling that you are getting into a place where you're taking back control, right? Where things are out of control for so long, you're taking back control and doing so with those that really bring cheer, joy, and support and compassion to your situation and in your life. Simple, clean, very easy to interpret here and to look into, very beautiful to see. But let's go ahead and finish off your reading with the charms and see if there's anything that we're missing here. So as always, feel free to send your energy in. And if you are enjoying this reading so far, do be sure to give this video a like and let me know at the end or later in the comments of any questions or feedback on the reading that you'd like to share. And I'd also love to hear of different readings that you'd like to see in the future. But let's go ahead and pull you some charms. Okie dokie. Let's have a little look. So I kept talking about how beautiful your charms were. And beautiful, right? Beautiful things aren't always things that are perfect or graceful or, sometimes beautiful things are things that come out of difficult situations. And so that's sort of the feeling that I'm getting here from the swan that showed up here. The swan can be super protective, but they're also very beautiful. They're very graceful, right? Grace under pressure, right? That feeling of grace being an opportunity for us to give ourselves a little bit of grace through difficult situations and to sort of float on by. That's sort of showing up here with that tailor, attention to detail, pride. Alongside the scissors that were showing up here, you got more scissors showing up here next to the orange. So again, when we keep this prideful message, this feeling of being too proud to ask for help, this sort of cheer gets cut out of our lives. This support gets sort of cut out of our lives, and kind of takes away a little bit of the blanket of abundance cheer that was coming in. You also have the trim charm showing up here, which is similar to scissors, but in this case it's more like fingernail trimming. In this case, whenever I see the trim charm, it's not something we're cutting off entirely, right? We're just doing a little trim. So I feel like this situation isn't going to leave your life quickly and fast, but it's something that's going to slowly, as the month goes by, become less and less the center of attention in your life when it comes to a foundation that has fallen or a situation that kind of fell out of control in your life. So that's something to consider. And then you also have here, right in the center of the entire reading on cheer with this orange, you have the puzzle piece charm. This one I always think of, like, for some reason, this specific puzzle piece shape always makes me think of like a bunch of heads at a table, right? It always just looks like a table with some chairs. So this feels like, again, people pulling up chairs, having a conversation, showing support, the social element. And then you also have, to finish off all of your charms here, the knight charm. This feels like I don't normally get this, but this knight of shining armor flying into your life. And I think it's just reminding yourself that you have more than one person in your life that you can fall back on, and that you don't just have to have the knight of shining armor to save you, but rather these people aren't trying to save you or fix you, but rather just give you some support, just be there, just share the space with you and to hold space for you. So that's beautiful to see as well. I'm so excited for your guys' month and the healing that might arise for you. I do hope that you enjoyed this reading. If you did, like I said, be sure to give this video a like. Let me know in the comments down below of any videos you'd like to see in the future or any comments on this reading. And if you're interested in pick a card readings, which I mostly do on this channel, or, a sprinkled in art magic video or charm casting video, then definitely feel free to subscribe, as I put out new readings every single Monday that I really think you'd enjoy. And as it is Pride Month, if you want to show off your colors or support someone who is within the community in your life, then definitely feel free to check out the rainbow pride earrings that I hand crochet for any colors that you want to show off from your flag, or if you want to show your pride in someone else in your life, then feel free to check out all the information on how you can get a set of your own this Pride Month and to support a queer artist as well. So all of the information on that will be down below, as well as on my Instagram, and you're always welcome to send any questions or queries that you have on those. And thank you so much for hanging out here with me. I really do hope that you enjoyed our time here today, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!